We remain in a very dark winter.
So today in Antiquities of Greatness in the AfroGenome, we're still on the topic of biomedicine, but I want to talk about the dark winter. So the dark winter was a snowpocalypse that occurred in Texas. This snowpocalypse is the winter part of dark, and the dark part is talking about the electrical systems, the electrical grid that was interfered with so that certain vulnerable persons can be in a more vulnerable state. So vulnerable persons are people who are undesirables. And when you think of eugenics times, you'll think that undesirables are who? The darker populations, the people who are in low income. When you think of Black people specifically, Texas being the fourth largest state with a high concentration of Black people, so you will see how these systems, when they fall, they will fall on us harder than anybody else. So when you think of the energy being off, you not being able to call anyone, you not being able to turn on your lights, who is that going to affect the most? What if you needed oxygen tanks? What if you needed insulin? What if you needed all of these attachments to this system that is run off our energy and an electrical grid, which a lot of Texans just found out was privatized? So we've been filling their pockets and they've been putting us in a more vulnerable position. So this is a form of biological warfare. These people have blood on their hands again, and specifically the privatized electrical company. So I wanted to talk about this in biomedicine because I believe that this is biological warfare that has been weaponized against Black Indigenous people. And I say Black Indigenous people because I'm a Black Indigenous person, and it's best to talk about what's in my own backyard before I spread to anyone else. So this has disproportionately affected Black people because there were children who were dying. There were elders who were dying. Those are vulnerable people within our community. And we have to think of this as a problem. Why is someone privatizing our energy? And why is the government not having proper emergency responses to this type of situation? Because Chicago is usually a call away. Colorado is right over the border. All these neighboring states who have to deal with snow were not called. They did not intervene at all. What does that mean? That means the snowpocalypse was a weapon of biological warfare. All of a sudden, Texas is not in the mature state to secede, but wasn't you trying to leave? Didn't you not need this nation because you were so independent and functional? Then why were children and elders dying? Because they didn't have proper heat. Their bodies wasn't able to maintain a certain heat to keep them going. That's biological warfare. They have blood on their hands. And that's what I wanted to talk about. How the dark winter was a form of biological warfare on Black Indigenous people.
Joe Biden is promising a long, dark, painful winter.